evening, Cubans of the Cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here. And yes, all this is gone, so I'm extra ugly this evening. Just excuse it. It works though because this is a horror-filled episode, and nothing will scare you like this will tonight. So clutch yourself closely, get your huggy pillow out when you fall asleep, but the nightmares won't stop. Now, I wanted to do, because I'm a huge, huge fan of horror. I watch horror movies all week, every week. Absolutely love them. And I wanted to do a horror episode of the 1011. And the first guest had to be J2, had to be Ramirez here, because he loves horror, probably even more than I do, which is hard to say for me, because people don't know how much I love horror. And then, of course, we got another great co-host this evening who also loves horror. So we got the horror trifecta here. We have K-pop junkie herself, Katie, in the co-hosting seat. Katie, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Glad to be here. Yes, I had to be here when I heard J2 was coming on and we were talking horror. I was like, yes.
J2, thanks for coming back, sir.
No, thanks for having me. You guys are very kind. I just love cinema and I love horror movies. And I said that wrong. I absolutely love horror movies and I love cinema in general. But I humbly appreciate you thinking of me to bring me on, man. I just love talking horror movies. That's all.
It had to be you, the first horror one. It had to be.
Thank you very much.
I was looking around. I'm like, no, it's got to be him. It can't be anyone else. I got to bring J2 on for horror.
Yeah,
so
I'm here.
He's number one. It's literally who I think of when I think of horror in the community. That's because, like, if you guys don't know, like the low grades to do the horror thing, we've been doing that. How long are we doing that? Like this, like I think probably the fourth year I'm going to be participating with you guys.
Yeah, no, the low grades. So every October, that's probably when I'm most involved.
Yeah,
when I'm involved, but every October, the fellas over at the low grades do a 31 days of low grade horror. We absolutely, and they love horror movies. Well, James and I love horror movies, and our brother Ross loves horror movies too. So,
and
30.
Underrated gem the other night, one that not a lot of people know about. It's a horror comedy, but the effects are amazing, the acting's great, and it takes place in Ireland. And that is a little movie called Grabbers, which is so slept on. But if you have a subscription to Shudder, you can watch it for free.
Yes, you can.
It is such a fun movie.
No, it's so funny. I have a subscription to Shudder. I know you guys say like I'm the first one y'all think of horror, but I'll be honest. Like my buddy Tom is is a big guy that I find a lot of obscure horror movies from. I love a lot of mainstream horror and some underground. But my buddy Tom, when I think of horror movies outside of myself, I think of him and some of the fun things that he posts, because he's always putting me on underground sleepers and things that I just couldn't fathom for even out. But yeah.
Final Girls, that's another sleeper for me.
Oh, yeah. Final Girls is fun. I love that movie.
Final Girls is so good. And I'm talking about the one where they go into the movie. Yes. Because there's a Final Girl and a Final Girls.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're topping sleepers, the only two that come to my mind off the top of my mind, most people haven't seen or haven't heard. The House is October Built. That was on our list one year. The House is October Built is an amazing found footage film of a group of friends who go out in search of the most extreme haunts. One reason why I absolutely adore that movie is because the first half of it is shot in Austin, Texas, and that's where I'm from. So it's very cool to see the downtown area and all the highways and the exits, because I'm like, oh, I know where they're at and I know where they're headed. But if you love haunted houses, you'll enjoy the heck out of this movie. That'd probably be my first sleeper. I got a bunch of sleepers, bro.
So real quick, we'll give you the 2 minutes. Tell everyone who's watching who you are, where they can find you, what your content's about. For anyone that might find you new on the rewatch, people that are here now obviously know you and are here to support you. But we have new faces that sometimes check the stuff out and they find new favorite people. You might be someone's new favorite tonight. So
I don't want to be anybody's favorite. I'm just a man who loves horror, and if anybody's talking horror, then my Instagram is always open. A little bit about myself. I'm Joshua J2. self-proclaimed cinematic adventurer. I love venturing off to drive-ins, different movie theaters, going into their movie. It's almost like secret shopping. Like I look to see how many die cuts you have of Nosferatu or Alien Romulus, and if it's not enough to my liking, like I like to review the movies and the actual theater themselves along with the service. I can be found on Instagram. I've been on Instagram for some time. J2AMIR3Z. A lot of people say J2Ramirez. Honestly, the 2 and the 3. I love Michael Jordan, and they just symbol an R and an E for JRamirez. So Gary's like one of the first people that actually got that. Like they saw the J2 and read, "Oh, this is JRamirez. I see this." So thank you, Gary. I appreciate that.
It wasn't too complicated. I figured it out.
Other than that, like I'm not on YouTube at the moment currently. I'm upgrading a microphone. I'm upgrading different production things here within the house, as folks can probably see from the background and things. I'm just switching stuff up. I'm getting into critiquing, but I've also taken time to myself to focus on dreams. I'm 37, right? So like my whole life, I've been working since I was 14, and I never got to stop and like really do what I was passionate about. So I've been getting into acting auditions. I've been writing scripts. I take no for an answer. I will work in the horror movies one day. I will work in the movie industry one day. It's only a matter of time, perseverance, and hard work. So where you can find me at the moment right now, it's only on Instagram. Other than that, you can always reach out to my friends who run the low grades, and I'm sure they know how to find me always too. But I'm lurking around in the castles and in the shadows.
And if you message him on IG, he's pretty good at getting back to you.
Yes, I do my best to try really hard to get in on that, but I also know my phone can be a distraction, and I've grown such a passion into writing and forming my own dreams on paper and my own universes and my own worlds, and I want to bring these to fruition. I want to birth life into my dreams and see where my passions take me.
Nice.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I want to say something too, because when we first started talking, I think it's got to be 4 years by now. You have accomplished so much in those 4 years, and all of us that know you are so super proud of you. So I'm going to give you a huge round of applause for doing all the things you accomplished the last couple of years. Now you're doing auditions. I'm so excited, and I can't wait for you to start your filmmaking journey, because my favorite thing when we do our movie reviews, we watch a bunch of movies together. Yes. My favorite thing, is how you critique a movie. Because not only do you just watch a movie and go, oh, it sucks, oh, it's amazing. You do the score, you do the acting. You're like, oh, this director did blah, blah. You can tell you everything about a film. It's amazing. You are so passionate about the film stuff. It's great. I love hearing this.
I nerd out over it, and sometimes I can get kind of bashful about it, because it can, to me, sometimes maybe I think it's embarrassing and it's not, and it's just passion. But there are times I can get quite overly excited. I cried watching Nosferatu. Like the emotion that I felt, like I get very invested into film and movies, and I'm glad you recognize that passion, Katie. And that's all I want to pour out. And I'm glad my friends are here and they support me for that. And it's greatly appreciated.
I would love to do a review of the movie with you someday.
Oh
man.
I'm just a huge horror guy myself, so that would be fun.
You'll have to do a watch along the thing, and then you guys do your own. Do that in the first place. Yeah. We were talking about that backstage. Do that,
guys. I'm like sweating. Y'all got me all like, I'm all like getting all nervous.
Well, let's say
listen. You're with homies here. Let's go.
So first in this evening we have Steve White. All right, how you doing, Steve? Steve is out teaching right now, so he popped in to say hi.
Okay.
Hello, Steve.
We have Las Cruces. James, good evening, sir. Great to see you.
Hello.
All the way from New Mexico. What's up?
One of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug.
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
We have Kevin here from Entropy and Comics. Good evening, Kevin.
Oh.
Hey, Kevin.
Phil here from Phil's Treehouse. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you.
Lord Phil.
Day warm
too much tonight, buddy.
What's up, man?
We have Mark. Whoops, hold on a sec. I got that going over. We have Mark Kicks right here. Good evening, Mark. Great to see you.
That's the
Creator. Good evening, sir. How you doing?
That's the brother.
For joining us. We have Mr.
James.
Good evening.
Callie.
Hey, Callie. What up, Callie?
Is that host? That is K-pop junkie, Brad. I'm sure you know her.
What?
And she's not
Yeah.
a stranger to this
Listen.
channel.
Listen, it's fine.
Mr.
I get it.
TVH, a great horror lover himself in our community.
Oh, yes. He's another one that loves weird, obscure horror movies. Dude, you're going to have to join us in October when we start the 31 days of low grades horror. Let's go. Yes.
I might have to pay attention a little bit more because him and I are like two of the only people that know Hell Comes to Frogtown with Roddy.
Oh no, I love Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Let's
awesome.
go. I talk about
that
it
one.
all the time.
Good evening, Ryan.
Yeah.
Pop a wheelie, horror blows. It's just because you're wrong.
Pops blows. He's he's salty.
Come on, horror goes back to our roots. Stoke Comics. Good evening,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh, what's up? Oh, he's another one that loves good times.
Followed by actual Dracula. Adrian, how you doing tonight, sir?
What up, Drac?
Yes, he has seen it. Grabbers is awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of great Argentinian horror movies. Where Evil Lurks is so amazing.
Ooh.
Oh, it's so dark though. It's not,
yes.
You don't go there for a happy ending.
No.
It is dark.
Not at all. It is very dark. Yeah.
Mr. John, how you doing tonight? Mr. Jean Malo, good evening, sir. Great to see you.
What's up, everybody?
We got Adam Balderas. Great to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
That's my cousin. Hey, what up? That's cool. Very cool. It's the power of Instagram. Look at that. I didn't even send him the link. He got that on Instagram. Very cool.
So we will keep doing a tip of the hat to the people as they're joining us. But it is magical. Thank you. Mr. Mark Anderson. Mark, I nicked my goatee a little bit this evening and it was bugging me, so I shaved it all off. So you're welcome when you dream and have scary. When you pee your blood because you're scared, you can thank me. All right, so back to the show. It's all about you tonight, J2. So let's start out your 10-1-1 and just have at it, sir.
All right, 10-1-1. Here we are. The 10-1-1.
Now let you guys know if he picks one thing I don't think is a real horror movie, he's gonna lose horror cred with me.
Oh man! Oh,
you know, I'm almost like a little embarrassed. I kind of just pick things that
never be embarrassed. Like what you like and screw anybody.
No, I do like what I like.
Right, Gary.
Everything right. So everything kind of already has a story. Every movie I picked there's a reason why I picked it and things that I love. So we'll start with the second sleeper. 10-1-1. We'll go with my first 10. Good old Warwick Davis.
Oh,
Leprechaun. Before Jennifer Aniston's job.
This is the infamous Jennifer Aniston variant cover. Pretty hard to find. And then you do find it. It's now not that cheap, but I love the Leprechaun movies simply because they are too much fun. They make me laugh. They used to scare me when I was little. I don't know about you guys, but if I had a little homicidal maniac, fucking leprechaun chasing after me for some gold as a kid, I'd probably get scared.
You get bonus points for the VHS, sir.
Yes.
I've been collecting VHS. It's real big nowadays. It's funny. Like if I shared screen my Facebook, I could show you Facebook memories from 2005 when I was buying VHS before it was movies have been around me that much. Cinema has been around me that much. There are certain movies I feel that can only be watched in VHS to keep that grainy and nostalgic feel to it. But yeah, Leprechaun is one of those longtime favorites, childhood memories. One of the very first horror films I saw. Shout out to my grandmother, God rest her soul. She's the reason why I love horror movies as my grandma. Nice. Yeah, you want to talk about a little old Mexican woman who thought it was perfectly okay for you to sit there eating tostadas, watching Hellraiser. Like, just sit there, mijo, it's fine. Yeah.
Clive Barker is my Robert E. Howard and Clive Barker are my two favorite authors.
Man, yeah, dude, I like Clive Barker. I love his imagination. I love his creativity and his approach to creativity, and not being scared to show what's really in his mind, no matter how dark it may be.
Oh yeah.
Number 2, Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, classic.
Blockbusters, classic. I have this on VHS quite a few times, and on Blu-ray, and a steelbook, and the soundtrack. But I chose this one in particular for my affinity, my love for Blockbuster. This is a Blockbuster classic. I love anything and everything that George A. Romero puts his hands on. This was the very first zombie movie that I ever saw. The music alone, when I was a kid, the score used to scare the living crap out of me. It just at the very beginning, the slow car creeping through the cemetery. Everything about this movie is absolutely cinema gold. It's shot beautifully. The zombies that are in it, how scary, to that daughter, the girl who turns into a zombie and just starts attacking her family like that. Yeah, in that time, if you put yourself in a movie theater and you were watching that, I don't doubt you would have shit your pants too. You know what I mean? Night of the Living Dead, you just got to go with it. It's a classic.
So I have this weird part of me that just doesn't scare during a movie. Like when I was a kid, and I get so much shit for this. The Exorcist never bothered me. I thought it was boring.
I laugh at The Exorcist. I think it's
I'm like this scares everybody, but things just don't affect me.
Let's just get that out of the way.
VHSs now.
Let's just get that out of the way.
Now,
The Exorcist.
We gotta talk. We gotta talk a second before you talk about this.
Yeah.
What's up?
They just released on Prime a documentary, George Romero's
I have it
Resident
on
Evil film.
I have bought it. It's on my Voodoo watch list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
I'm
you
very
aware.
excited for it.
Ooh,
I'm very excited for that. I saw that it's a little over like 2 hours long. Like it's gonna be some good stuff. Yeah, no, it's already bought and ready to go, man. I'm hyped up for that.
I know it's on my watch list on Prime. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, I put this on my watch list after this.
You would think he has a son. Why not make the attempt at the movie that your dad didn't finish, or not that he didn't finish, but that it never got to come out?
Right. Well, I think that's probably like the people who own the rights screwing that up for him.
The people who are owning the rights are missing out on a lot of revenue if they don't let that happen. That just from a business standpoint, that has money bags written all over it.
Well,
whether it's George or his son.
Anyway, The Exorcist.
So The Exorcist is one of my favorite novels and movies. This is actually from a very, very near dear friend of mine, Doreen, Batmite Comics. I call her Mama D. She talks to me like I'm a son. I talk to her like she's a mom at times. She's so wise. She's so respectful. She's so amazing. She's just a beautiful person inside and out. I love everything about her. She gifted this to me. This is actually the screenplay for the 21st century. And it's signed by William Peter Blatty.
Oh, wow.
To me, that was very cool in the sense of how much, probably in silver ink, you can't see it.
No, it looks great.
She gifted this to me out of nowhere, which it'll stay in my collection forever because of my infatuation with this movie. It is a movie that used to scare the living shit out of me as a kid. It was the movie that I was told not to watch. Don't get caught watching this. Your parents didn't want you to watch it. And a lot of reasons, partly so why it scares me is I believe in God. So I believe in the devil. And those stories like that, they're very, very terrifying to know that, something as innocent as a little girl or a child or a boy, man or woman, could be possessed by something so nefarious and heinous. Those kinds of stories when you're a kid can really fuck you up. They can really terrify you. So the first time when I watched it as a child, I had to have been maybe 9 or 10, probably nowhere the age like where I should have seen it at. And yeah, it scared the living shit out of me. Now, when I watch it as an adult, I consider it to be one of the best pieces of cinema in general. The cinematography in that score is great. In the movie is amazing. The performances given are amazing. Linda Blair had to go to those lengths to portray such a character at a young age. I could only imagine the toll it might have taken on her emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So like that movie there as an art piece is something so beautiful, but yet so dark and terrifying. But it ends with a good story. Like, you know, good always prevails over evil. And The Exorcist, more than a movie to me, is just something. It's a very scary but beautiful story, and I love it. Yeah.
Well, it prevails until the sequel, then it comes back.
Yeah.
Number two.
Yes.
Number two.
Yes. Well, and a lot of
Bypass
people, like, you know, I could have said on the sleeper, The Exorcist 3 is meant to be a direct sequel to The Exorcist 1. So you're supposed to act as if like part 2 never happened. I'm not sure many people
We
know
do.
about that or not, but yeah.
It's like Season of the Witch with Halloween.
Yeah.
I like Season as a Witch, but it doesn't really fit in the Halloween thing. But I love it as its own movie.
But yeah, so like that's what I'm like with Exorcist 3, it's meant to be the direct sequel. I don't know what happened with part 2, but whatever.
That's one of the things I appreciate.
I told you how much that movie doesn't do anything to me.
No, like and that's the thing, like it doesn't scare everyone. I just appreciate that movie for the piece of cinema that it is. The toll that it took on people. People were barfing. They were handing out barf bags in that movie back in the day. They were passing out, feigning the lines.
Yeah.
I look at it as the same staple as Star Wars or Jaws. What it did for that time frame of cinema, it's monumental. And
I don't know if you know this one. One of my favorite movies about exorcism is actually The Exorcism of Deborah Logan, which is which nobody knows about.
The Taking of Deborah Logan is an absolute masterful film that
like
circles
you go into
around.
that not expecting anything, and when it's done, you're like,
yeah,
wow.
dude. It's a mind trip, and that film for me was kind of hard to watch when it first came out because I had just lost a grandfather to Alzheimer's. So when you're watching The Taking of Deborah Logan, it's about a documentary. It's found footage documentary style based film, and they want to explore Alzheimer's. And then shit starts happening, and like so that movie when I first watched it was a bit hard to watch, but it was also very like it's creepy. That's a fun watch, dude. Good.
Yeah, everyone talks about The Exorcist and Emily Rose, which is good, but the one
that's a good movie too.
Deborah Logan is slept on.
Yeah, The Taking of Deborah Logan is highly slept on. Highly slept on. Fun more stuff. It's not 1 or 2 movies. It's not 1 or 2 series. It's Tales from the Crypt as a whole.
Oh, nice.
Including the animated series on WB that came out in the early 2000s. Tales from the Crypt on this lovely HBO logo. When back in the day, I used to get in trouble for watching HBO because of some of the more risque shows that came on. Tales from the Crypt was one of my grandmother's favorite things to watch every night. And we would all sit there, like the whole family, and I mean like everybody. My little brother, we're only about 9 months apart. We're Irish twins. My little brother used to be super fucking terrified of Tales from the Crypt. The puppeteer when he'd pop out of the coffin. I have
that movie. That show was great, and when that came out, it was so well embraced because there wasn't anything really like it out at that time.
No, it was very pulpy. It was very fun. It was humorous. It was scary at times. It was very sexy too,
roles, which was awesome to see.
Yeah, no, it was very sexy, very risque as well. But you're right. Like when I have the completed series on DVD and most of them on VHS. When you go back and read some of those credits, I mean, you have Robert Zemeckis directing, Tom Hanks directing and starring, Arnold Schwarzenegger starring, so many fucking people. Like the director of Forrest Gump made his start and his break directing Tales from the Crypt episode. Like that's dope. And if you appreciate cinema, then you can appreciate that. Like, but yeah, Tales from the Crypt, anything Tales from the Crypt is one of my picks. Bordello of Blood, Demon
I was
Knight.
just gonna say,
the whole
Bordello of Blood and
completed
Demon
series.
Knight were great movies. I
Yeah.
saw both of those in the theater.
Yeah, I have Demon Knight VHS, Blu-ray, DVD, and Bordello of Blood on Blu-ray and DVD. I'm a completist, man. I try to like get them all.
But Tales from the Dark Side had and he brought Figure John brought it up. I did not miss Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh no.
It was on Friday night at 11 o'clock where I lived. Every Friday night, my ass was in front of that TV. And just when that little theme song came, that had the best theme song ever of a horror anthology show.
I love Tales from the Dark Side. Dude, those are so good.
I don't know, brother. I'm gonna have to say the best. Well, I don't know. I don't think it'd be considered an anthology series, but to me, one of the best, iconic, and most known horror theme songs of all is. And I just bought this vinyl too, Mondo. If anybody wants it, Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
That
Dude.
there, right there. I want to kick some mad freestyles to the beginning of that introduction.
Dude, you had Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, the Hitchhiker. You had Unsolved Mysteries. Those were. I was watching that. That's what I was watching when I was a kid. That stuff.
You had the Friday the 13th series, which I thought was really. I love that one. Like it was like different affected objects.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tim,
where else am I at? Oh, okay.
You're at number 5, sir.
Yes.
Oh,
let's go. Oh, yeah.
Tim Curry, the legend, the icon, the man. Pennywise used to haunt me. Oh. It's the reason why I have a thing for clowns. I love clowns. I personally would love to portray a clown in a horror movie or so for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been the same clown for Halloween. His name is Mr. Giggles. And every year I just add to it and add to this character. I don't know what I've done or where he will go or what it is. It's just something I've done every year. Giggles comes out on Halloween.
Now, who's the scarier clown, Pennywise or Art the Clown?
Pennywise.
Okay. Oh, Pennywise. He's got that alien mystery energy going for him.
Like in
Tim Curry Pennywise.
Yeah, Tim Curry Pennywise scares me visually more than Art the Clown does. Art the Clown makes me like smile more.
Yeah.
And like, yo, that's dope. Pennywise, I'm like, hey, let me just keep you at arm's length.
Every kid, 80s and 90s, when they saw it or whatever, was afraid of the shower drains.
Yeah.
Every kid. No.
It is one of those movies that I love. Just again, all of these come from my childhood, man. These are all movies that take me back to a place and a time when I was a child and I'd sit scared, blankets up to my eyes, mouth full of pickles. Not like, and still not like I'm somebody like I enjoy being scared. Like I enjoy going through haunted houses like by myself or wanting to look for what drives the scariness in me. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Well, and and you think about it too. Like there's all these people that make fun of horror, but horror is what's been with us through every generation of humanity, from campfire tales to teaching your children's lessons. Horror and monsters, all that's always been a part of our history.
Yeah, horror has been around for quite a long time. It's very awesome because my brother got me a book this past Christmas that's a clinical horror cinema, an introduction into all things horror. Ooh. And it kind of gives you like a general perception of what the first horror movie was and what they defined as a horror movie. And it's funny because like they go back into the 1800s of people that were drawing on rocks and doing hieroglyphics of things that were monstrous figures, and they were pretty much things that are like, hey, don't cross here. This is horror. This is horrifying. This is scary. Don't cross here. So like you said, horror has been around like for as long as man.
Now, there is another sleeper one I want to ask you about before we move on.
Zombie
Yeah.
strippers.
I saw that as well.
No, not that. Although Lesbian Vampire Killers is a
Yes!
fun
Yes!
movie and nobody knows about it.
I love
Nobody-
this movie, and it's got what's his face, the dude from Late Night. What's his name?
Right. I can't remember it because you asked me, but that is a
I
fun
love that
movie, and
movie.
it's not anything you expect it to be.
I got my mom to watch that, and she loved that movie.
I just like, I know this isn't horror, but I think I saw this like the second comment he made about my hoodie. Shout out to, I think it's figure drawing.
Yeah,
or
figure
who-
drawing.
who
Yeah,
made
when you
it?
say Vatos
Yeah,
Locos
yo.
forever.
Yeah.
Blood in, blood out. Being I'm Hispanic and in the Latino community, next to horror, gangster movies, mafia movies, and things like that were super huge. And it were a staple in my life. So for the fact that he pointed that out, sangre por sangre, blood in, blood out, like how you know that, dude. You need to follow me on Instagram. I'm coming to follow you if we're not already following each
Dude,
other. But shout
Figure
out to the
drawing
homie
is a
right there. Dog.
homie.
It's like, bro, this is
yes.
like family. Like it's almost how rich in history this hoodie is. In like me being so wet or so light skinned, and comparison to all my cousins and stuff and family and brothers, like blood in, blood out is a staple. Is a staple in my life. So I just
No.
wanted to shout that out to
Oh no,
to
you're
the
good.
homies.
The movie I wanted to tell you about is actually a movie called Legions, which is another Argentinian horror movie.
Okay, I don't think I've heard of
Also-
that one. I've heard of
also-
Legion, but not Legion.
Yeah.
You can watch it. You have to have the It's fantastic. Another one where you're not going to get a happy ending, so don't expect one. But that's also on Prime.
Oh, cool.
Hell yeah.
We gotta
We
write
will
all these
check
down. Yeah.
We're
We're gonna have to do movie night again sometime because man, that's fun.
I want to jump to a fun one. So one that's near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite animated horror movies.
Oh.
Ooh.
Paranormal.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I love that movie.
It's an anti-bullying movie. So like when we grew up in the valley, they used to beat me up and take my Jordans. Like I used to walk home in my socks. Growing up, like I kind of got picked on a lot just for being tiny and small or whatever. And then it wasn't until middle school, like when I started other extracurricular activities where the bullying stopped. But this movie, Paranorman, I love it because it is an anti-bullying movie. And you shouldn't fucking bully people because if you do, then you're going to fucking have to deal with me. And I don't like bullies at all. So go watch Paranorman, show it to your kids, love it, enjoy it, stop bullying, and love animated horror. I believe, Paranorman. No, I don't think Tim Burton did Paranorman.
I don't think that one
actually.
was Tim Burton, but
Yeah,
it's
no.
kind of shot in that like stop motion style that he does. Yeah.
Yeah, they
really good,
ripped
though.
off Tim Burton. But yeah, Paranorman is cool. Bullies aren't cool. This movie's great. So
Yeah.
please, I think not a lot of people talk about this movie as much as they should, and I don't think it's shown like in schools as much as it should.
No.
And it should just be passed around. I think every kid should see it, and anybody that's been bullied or is being bullied should watch this movie.
Exactly.
And it's beautiful. And I love it still as a 37-year-old adult. I put this movie on and I absolutely love Paranorman.
It's amazing.
Bullying ain't cool. So,
But
yeah.
I think that movie got overshadowed because I think around the same time the Tim Burton movie that came out was
Frankenweenie.
Yeah, it came out around the same time. So I think it got overshadowed. But I love the art in that movie.
Tim
It's
Burton.
Awesome. Yeah.
Stop bullying Paranorman with your movie.
Right.
I'm trying to remember one. I'm trying to look up. I have it digital. Oh, here, Monster House. I love.
Monster House is fun too,
one.
dude. Yeah.
Monster House is, and when you learn the truth, it's so sad too.
Oh, Monster House is great. I think that was one of the first movies that was on the movie watch list that we did when I joined you guys. For that.
It's great, and I don't know. I love Monster House.
We had Monster House on the list. It's an amazing, fun movie. I believe like Nick Cannon's in it, and a couple of other folks playing the voice. But yeah, Monster House is a very fun, good movie to watch. If any of you guys have kids or just enjoy animation as an artwork in the sense that I do. Yeah, Monster
So
House is cool.
So much artistry goes into making those 3D animated movies, but also the stop motion stuff. It's insane, like how much time they actually take to do like little dinky things to move things. But I think that's also another reason that got us really big into horror movies when we were a kid. Because when you're a kid, like you always have like the Halloween specials, like the holiday specials.
Right.
One of my favorite movies of all time was a Disney movie. I can't remember the exact name of it. What was the Oogity Boogity guy? And I don't remember. Yeah, it was like the stupid like pilgrim ghost guy that came and like haunted this village. I can't remember the name of it, but I used to watch this every year. They made a couple sequels to it. It was amazing. But yeah, like, Hocus Pocus, all that stuff. That's all stuff we grew up on, and I could still watch it to this day, and I love it.
I still remember when I was a kid loving the original Sleepy Hollow cartoon with Ichabod Crane from.
I love that. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I haven't thought about that in a long time. Oh shit!
I mean, for animated horror, that's one of the ones that
one of the first
effect on me was watching that and just like wanting to see it more and more. And they didn't play it a lot.
No, there's something about that too. The moment you see that image, you automatically get into that Halloween mood. Like there's just something about it. It's spooky. Oh, and Adam, your cousin is saying,
ask about your haunted aunt's house.
Oh.
My tia Vicky. Fuck that whole land. Actually, like he's being modest as fuck. Cuz going and tell him about Grandma Chamana's spot. Everything out there is haunted. It's got to be on like fucking Indian burial ground or some type of witch's nest out there. Like it's absolutely when you're out there at night, it's just a different vibe. It's a different feeling. But yeah, my tia Vicky house, they say tia Vicky's house is haunted, and there's rumors and all that of what's buried under the house and all kinds of shit. I'd say the house across the street at the homegirl Chinese Leche, her house is no disrespect. That's my cousin. I can say that about her. Her house is probably haunted too. No bullshit. Across the street, my grandma Tamana's house is probably haunted. Where my cousin where my cousin used to live, he lives in Austin now, but where my cousin used to live on his dad's ranch, that whole fucking spot has to be haunted. Like, yeah, I know he's telling me, hey, tell him about our aunt's house. You in the fucking chat he knows that whole place down there is haunted. It's funny because I started writing a screenplay about my uncle's ranch, like wanting to shoot it out there, pretty much about a witch, the bruja.
Down. Let's go.
Yeah, like that out there in the valley, RGV, the 956. It's very rich in paranormal history. Yeah, fuck yeah. Down there in the valley where my family, I'm the only one born in Austin. My whole family's from the valley. It's close, very close to Mexico, the border. But yeah, that whole place is fucking haunted. And that whole place just needs an exorcism, straight up. It's bad. I don't know. I don't want to go down there.
I thought Wrong Turn was just funny.
I like the first one. There's a couple of them in there, but I really like the lore that's behind the Wrong Turn stuff. I haven't watched a couple of the newer ones, but I really love the first one. I mean, you turn a wrong turn anywhere, that can happen to you anywhere. It's crazy.
I guess
now you guys like anthologies, and this is also on Prime for free. It was only 13 episodes, but it was from the 70s. The Hammer House of Horror anthology series.
So I know that and haven't watched it. Is it in my Prime watch? Dude, everything's in my fucking watch list that I just don't go back to. I'm very vaguely familiar with that. And it's just something more so, I guess, because I'm familiar with Hammer films, some of the movies. I didn't know they had an anthology series. If this is the same Hammer we're speaking of.
Each episode was a horror story. And it ran for 13 episodes. I really enjoyed it.
I've never seen that.
Also, shout out to underrated movies, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Best movie of all time. How is this not had another movie or something? It's probably the best parody type movie of all time. Oh my god, it's the best.
It's such a joyful watch.
It's so stupid. It's amazing. It's just it's so good. Yeah.
I'm very picky when it comes to comedic horror.
Me,
I
me
haven't
too,
seen
because
that.
it either works or it doesn't.
Yes. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and like, because everybody says it's that good. I intentionally have never seen it. I
You are
know what
doing
it is.
yourself a disservice, sir.
No, I believe it.
no.
I know who. I know
So
what it
good.
is. I know who's in it. I know who directed it. It's just one of those that I'm like, like, is
I have
it
never had
really
someone watch
funny
that
though?
off
Like,
my
is it good or
recommendation and
bad?
not like it.
It's so good. Like even if you just watch it, you're just writing through because you don't know what's gonna happen. So just like the twists that are happening, because it's kind of like parody, but it's also like actual horror.
Right.
So I think you're gonna like it. Plus the gore in it. You know how like you watch like The Evil Dead or whatever, you can tell it's like fake and stuff. The effects in it are amazing. So you're gonna appreciate it for like several different factors. So
Okay.
you need to no.
And
you're
the
wrong
kills
about
are
it.
super fun.
Oh,
I'm okay with that.
the kills are probably some of the best kills you will see in a horror
And-
franchise ever. Seriously, they're
And the
amazing.
unintentional love story is great.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. yeah.
I guess because we brought up, I only talked about like Texas for such a short history. Kind of weird I didn't bring that guy in there.
Well, I would have thought that would have been your number one. Are you kidding me? Come on.
No, I love this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in Texas. I'm from Texas.
See, that's another one where I was like,
That like the
What?
whole movie takes place in Travis County, Williamson County, right where I live.
You've been to that restaurant-y
yes.
thing themed. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the restaurant. It's now a restaurant. It's inside the original house that they filmed this
Yeah.
movie in. I've been to the house of the 2003 remake. I've been to the gas station from this film. The 360 bridge in Austin from part 2, where they're the truck is following alongside in part 2, you know what I mean? And they're on the bridge and he's chopping through the roof of the car. I've been down on that one. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Saw is family. Shout out to my boy Tom on Instagram, Tom Thestian. He's a huge Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. So I kind of showed this one in his honor too. Although
that's a
I'm
great,
from Texas.
that's great cover art too.
Yeah, the
Oh,
steelbook is dope. I will
Yeah.
say the 4K, I do like it better because the 4K is the actual poster, the original movie
Ooh,
poster.
yeah.
But this was the one I saw, and I just snagged it up when I could.
I think that movie when it came out, when you watched it, you were kind of like really taken aback because I think it got more into like the super horrific kind of horror than because it was like, okay, you had some other stuff, but yet that one, like the imagery of just Leatherface with the chainsaw and then just
there's a lot of shit
Yeah.
you hadn't
Yeah.
seen yet,
Yeah.
and it took you to places, to uncomfortable places, a sense of dread, being held captive by a cannibalistic fucking family that's ready.
Yeah.
They're just fucking with you until they're ready to eat you. You know what I mean?
That and around that same time back then too, you had "I Spit on Your Grave," which was just
Oh, that movie!
I
Oh
almost-
my god,
I
that
almost
movie!
picked that one.
Oh, if you
Yeah.
guys are weak when it comes to like revenge stuff, stay away. But that movie right there, oh man, yeah, that is.
and the
even
movie
the
Revenge,
remake,
too.
man. Whew.
Yeah, the remakes are good too, and also
Oh.
the movie Revenge, which came out like what 8
Oh,
years ago.
Revenge
now?
is great. That chick's playing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about her
She's
playing
playing
Red Sonja?
When as soon as they cast Matilda Lutz, I'm like perfect. I'm like everyone's like, oh, she's just a pretty face. I'm like, no, she can get
She
dirty
can kick
and
some
act and
butt.
do the action.
Yeah.
She's already proven
She was
herself. If you've never seen Revenge,
tough and
she could pull off Sonya.
she was tough in that movie. She was tough. Yeah.
And that was a brutal film too.
That was, yeah. There's a lot of those movies that are kind of like I Spit in Your Grave revenge kind of thing that are really, really brutal. But man, those chicks are absolute kick ass, and I love seeing that.
But even I Spit on Your Grave, as brutal as that is, like you're just every time she kills one of those fuckers, you're like, yes. You
Yeah.
just want her to keep on killing. Like,
Oh yeah.
rooting
I
for
just
her.
I gotta jump in the chat real fast because I gotta side with my buddy Callie. Hocus Pocus is, though not the greatest movie, it's just a staple for Halloween movies.
Yeah.
It's fun, man. That's a great movie you can put on with your kids, make up some s'mores, have that. It's just a good iconic Halloween movie. It's all in good fun. No, it's not the greatest movie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sarah Jessica Parker. She's a little hottie in that movie.
What about Witches of Eastwick?
Witches of Eastwick is fun.
That's a fun movie. I don't
Yeah,
really
it has
count
a
it as
lot of
horror.
people in there.
I just count it as like fun Halloween, like campy Halloween fun.
Yeah. I'm in for any
Cuba.
witches, so let's go.
Cuba's
But yeah,
good,
no.
too.
Hocus Pocus to me, that was like, it gave me those witchy vibes because you had all like the Salem stuff. Then you have like, it happens out of Halloween. So it just, to me, that is a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Like that's what I love watching in Halloween. I love watching movies that take place on or around like the actual Halloween. So that to me reminds me of actual Halloween. Yeah.
It's just it's a good Halloween movie. It's a Halloweeny is what I like to call Halloween movies. They're Halloweenies, meaning like your kids, anyone can watch. They're generational staples. Like I pass that on to my daughter. My daughter's 17 now, and then she'll pass Hocus Pocus down. Like just they're fun movies, family movies. As y'all could tell, I'm pretty family oriented. Is why I keep saying like watch movies with your kids and stuff.
And if you're talking witch movies, you got to mention The Craft.
Yeah, I have that movie as well too.
One of the best. That one actually has amazing soundtrack as well.
Yep. It did, and some hotties all up and through that movie.
just one or four of them.
Yeah, one or four. Yeah. Next on my list that climbed up the ranks pretty quickly. I guess I could do the franchise as a whole, but it's mainly we'll go with the franchise and then I'll narrow it down. The X, Maxine, and Pearl franchise by Ty West. More so, X. For me, this movie takes place in Texas. And it has
I have not seen that.
It has Jenna Ortega in it.
No. I remember.
Is that an A24 film?
Yeah,
that's why I haven't seen
produced it, but it's directed by Ty West. That's the thing. Like, it's tough when I'm like, well, when folks are like, "What is it, A24?" and I'm like, "Yeah," but it's also just because
I'll give it a shot too because it's a different director. But man, I hated Hereditary and Midsommar. Just thought those are such garbage movies. Like Midsommar, I called what was going to happen in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, she's going to join the cult and her friends are going to die. And it was just a boring piece of shit from then on out.
Dude,
like, the big truth is old people jumping off a cliff. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I love Midsommar, but
I'm sorry, I don't mean to crap on it then.
No, everybody's entitled to their some of my closest friends don't. Well, closest.
In Hereditary, I'm like, the surprise endings, naked old people don't care.
Yeah, sometimes like movies are subjective, right? And they're not going to be for anyone. So like, I take everyone's allowed to have their.
Dude, I got stared at so bad because I saw Hereditary in the theater. And when that sign took off the girl's head, I burst out laughing in the theater. And everybody was looking at me like I was some sort of freak.
Yeah. Midsommar is one of those movies like I have to be in the correct headspace to watch it because of how distressing I find that movie to be. It just really takes you there. But yeah.
And also I have to say too because I hated this one too because they don't have a good history of horror with me. The Witch. Ooh, it's a goat. And then your big twist at the end is people floating over a fire. Go fuck yourselves.
I think everything about The Witch, I think more so Robert Eggers movies are misinterpreted. It's more of a, as you can see, I'm
more of an allegory, but I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, they're not for everyone.
I like the cinematography of that movie. I love the cinematography of that movie. I wanted more witch lore. I think it could have been just
Anya Taylor-Joy, so I had that going for
slightly better if it had witch lore. But I love some of the horrific witch spots because they got into the horrific versions of witches in that movie, which the dark lore, which I could really appreciate. But the cinematography that was really good.
Yeah,
but also
The Witch is really amazing in the sense of like it's that terrifying. you don't want a
Damn.
creepy naked old lady to
No.
come and steal your baby away. Like
No.
in that movie, we
That
watched
scene
an
so
old woman
horrific. Yeah.
grinding a baby.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
that's
but
not.
the
So
stupid goat thing killed it.
horrific.
The
Yeah.
goat thing killed it for me. And then people floating at the end. Like you knew she was
Yeah.
gonna join the witches.
Right. Yeah,
Well, she was kind of forced to, but yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed it just because it was different from your Blair Witch. It was different from your Witches of Eastwick,
Yeah.
and I just thought it was.
Yeah.
I just liked it a lot.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. I mean, like all films subjective, right? Some
Yeah.
of us are
Yeah. Also, I will never forget that first movie watch that we did for X. And Little
That movie's
Wes's
amazing.
face when Kid Cudi full cuttied.
Yeah,
it lived up to the hype for me was Martyrs. I had heard so much about it, and then when I watch it, I'm like, oh, that's good.
it's okay.
Disturbing,
It wasn't anything I
good.
hadn't seen before.
But I wouldn't. But at the same time, I thought it was good, but I wouldn't watch it again.
I would. One movie that I would never watch again. I don't consider it a horror film. I just think it's kind of more of a disturbing film. Would be a Serbian film. There's
Never
things
watched
in. Yeah, don't. There's things in that movie that I can't unsee that I wish I could. But it did. It took me to that place where I had to pause to tell myself like I'm only watching a movie. And at that time, this was years ago. I used to smoke cigarettes then. At that time, I remember pausing it and stepping out onto my patio and like really reflecting on a scene that I had watched in that movie. Yeah, a Serbian film is a movie. Hey, shout out to Papa Willie.
You know, a movie that did disturb me, and it was all, and because of the subject matter, was and it's a Clive Barker film, Lord of Illusions. That's slept on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when they all get called to the cult and just their single-minded obsessiveness.
Yeah,
But the
dude.
one scene that gets me is like the one father that leaves and it pans into the kitchen and his family's dead, even his kids on the floor. He just killed his whole family.
Yeah.
And also Nightbreed. The first time he goes in and he kills the family.
Nightbreed.
Yeah.
Nightbreed is so good and such an underrated villain. Like that mask is probably to me one of the creepiest masks in horror.
That's a good one.
I don't know. Like next on the list,
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're chilling. We're talking like Clive Barker.
You said X Maxine, so you were going on those.
Oh, yeah, X Maxine and Pearl. That is just X takes place in Texas. I'm a Ty West fan. The Innkeepers, House of the Devil. I'm drawing a brain fart. Ty West makes really cool movies, really good movies. And I just enjoyed X, Pearl, and Maxine, the franchise as a whole. It just felt new. It felt fresh to me. And being that I am from Texas, and I really enjoy X a lot.
Now, what's the proper watching order of those three movies? Because I am going to check them out. I do happen to own two of them, I believe. I know I own X.
X came out, then Pearl, then Maxine, but Pearl's the prequel. So
I
mean, I don't really like. I'm one of those guys. I will watch it like, all right, hey, this is your chronological order, and then this is the way they say you're supposed to watch it. I will go and watch both ways, and then from there, like, look, I just kind of like it the way, however, you know what I mean?
Right.
So because I enjoy X more, I watch it in the way that it came out. X, Pearl, and then Maxine.
Yeah, I mean that movie made a lot of fans of Mia Goth.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she's a
Like,
really
put her on the
good
map.
actress. Yeah, she's a really
done a
good
lot of
actor or actress, however you want to call it. Yeah, she's done well. And it was cool to see her in Infinity Pool as well. But these are my favorite roles that she's in.
Yeah.
She gonna be a fucking star.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to watch X first, it's cool to watch that one because then if you go watch Pearl, you can kind of see what actually led up to the stuff that happens in X and like her like kind of mental, where she's at mentally. It's kind of interesting.
Well, that kind of works in that way, I guess. That makes sense, Katie.
So growing up, there were 2 urban legends that you heard about. Well, 3 really in the Hispanic community, but one of the big ones that you heard about that you didn't want to do was go into the restroom, turn the lights off, and say Candyman.
Yeah.
Love that movie. It's so good. Tony Todd is so great.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. OG legend. Candyman is one of those movies that used to scare me and like genuinely terrify me, but it also opened my eyes up to love stories being presented in horror movies and how you could get a sense of not eroticness like Hellraiser, like just sexual, but Candyman, like he was after the love, he wanted to be with his beloved wife. And I don't know, I hadn't seen nothing like that in horror movies that like subjected me to, wow, like,
yeah, when you saw his past,
villain is in love.
The way he was, you almost rooted for him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I guess maybe I'm a hopeless romantic at the end of the day. I hate romance movies. It's so funny, right? Because like I hate romance movies, but I think like, well, I'll get to it here in a bit, but like that's a horror romance movie. Nosferatu. Candyman could be considered almost a horror romance movie.
I think so because even Virginia Madsen's character kind of has this weird connection with him.
Since we're on the same subject, I'm gonna jump into the next one. One of my favorite horror romance movies of all time.
Fantastic.
Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, which features one of my favorite actors of all time in Gary Oldman. Why? Yeah. Not because he portrayed Dracula, but because he showed me his range in True Romance when he played.
Love True Romance.
So when I first watched that, I fell in love with Gary Oldman, and then I found out he played Dracula or Vlad the Impaler. And yeah, so going back, like this is a horror romance movie, dude. All fucking vampire movies,
so gothic romance. It's fantastic.
I don't even want to say gothic. It's just romance. Twilight.
Yeah.
What was the whole movie? Dracula. Nosferatu. A dude after a woman he's obsessed with that he can't get. The Lost Boys. It's all fucking vampire movies. Everyone overlooks that and they're like, oh, dude, all fucking vampire movies are romance movies filled with horror. And I hate romance movies, but not these kinds. Not these kinds.
Oh, that movie was fantastic. Just from the, once again, cinematography. Amazing.
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire, yes.
All fucking romance movies, dude. But yeah, Dracula. Just in the same way we were talking about, I have ADHD, so y'all might have to remind me. But yeah,
you're fine.
Candyman. Oh yeah, horror romance. You know what I mean? It leads into Dracula. Like if you watch Candyman or you watch Dracula and you don't feel a sense of love inside, then you're missing the fucking point of the movie. So, or maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just
no. I mean, because that was the whole driving force behind Candyman.
Yeah, it's
he loved this woman, and then the way they murdered him was just abysmal.
Man, shout out to all the Gary Oldman love out there that I've seen in the chat. Yo, Gary Oldman is the realest.
Yeah, and especially fantastic. When I first noticed him was in Leon the Professional.
Underworld is Romeo and Juliet with vampires and werewolves. Come the fuck on! You see, I'm not the only one.
And also, Underworld is also, the first time you see Kate Beckinsale in shiny ass pants.
Oh,
It
oh.
was an Uber hottie.
You got the shiny ass pants can't be underrated.
Yeah.
I don't
see. I think what is it? Is it this in the second one where they go back in time to figure out like that story?
No, that was
the
like
romance.
that was like the fourth one, and that one had another of my
the
favorite
romance of
actors,
that
and
is
it was
fantastic.
Rona Mitra.
I love the romance in that. Yeah, that one's good.
I think I'm coming down like to what the last two, right? Or the sleeper and then the 10. I think.
Yeah. Did you ever see a movie called Realms too, which was a pretty decent movie?
No.
What is it?
It's a kind of a super. So this group of people rob a bank. They break down and have to stay. They stay and hide out in this house, which is haunted, and all this weird shit happens to them. It's called Realms.
I don't know.
It might be free to watch on Vudu. I own it because I watched it and loved it, and I bought it.
Oh, I'll have to look this up.
But also really good.
Huh. That sounds like the one. It's probably not it though. Man, speaking. Well, I got movies in the middle of the day though. They're not horror movies. That's why I didn't show them.
I'm trying to remember one that I want to tell you about so bad, and I can't. I'm looking through my Vudu catalog as I'm listening.
Like
Audition.
Dude, there's everything. Audition. Like I'm a big fan of Japanese horror.
Let's go.
I'm a big fan of kung fu, like Japanese films in general, or I guess K horror. Is that K-pop? Is that considered?
I would say Korean horror.
Considered
I
Korean,
would say
or is it J horror? Which one?
Well, there's two kinds of both, really, because you got the Japanese, but all that Asian horror really is kind of on a whole nother level. Yeah.
I get a kick out of that stuff. Ringu.
Yeah.
It's the first movie I ever. One of my favorite actors is Hiroyuki Sanada. He plays Scorpion. That's the first movie I ever saw him in, and I just thought his hair, like, this is gonna sound funny, but I just thought his hair was like so wavy and luscious, and I thought my man looked so fire. Like I was just, if I ever had a set of hair, I'm trying to look like Hiroyuki. Like my man looks dope as fuck. I don't want the Hasselhoff. I want the Sonata. and that is all legit. That's like not even. I just saw him. I thought his hair. It's the same way I love Prince.
I found it.
Mysterious. So.
Oh, you found it? Okay, yeah.
All right. Have you guys ever watched The Loved Ones?
The Loved Ones.
This is a crazy one.
Can you make you big so I can't. It's hard to see from the.
This is a movie. If you two haven't seen it, this is worth a watch. It's called The Loved Ones, and just watch a trailer. It is just crazy.
Okay.
And there's some scenes that'll make you cringe a little in this one too. But this is definitely a sleeper one. This came out
after a Serbian film. I don't know that there's much that'll make you.
Well, Well, that one just seemed exploitive, so I never watch it. This one's actually just really good. Like, it's just crazy. Overlord, the horror war movie, was great.
Oh.
Yes.
The Belko experiment nobody talks about. That was
the Belko experience is often slept on as well too.
Yes.
Yes. Fucking prisoners.
Yeah. I think Asian cinema for the horror stuff, they do like serial killer stuff extremely well.
Oh, man.
And they do like supernatural stuff. But yeah, I saw The Devil. Oh, dude, my guy in that movie.
Where's my phone? Figure Drawing. Do you have Instagram? I want to be.
He does. Friend. Yes. Yeah, if anybody needs to add each other, you two, because he's super into art, and I love talking to him. Also, he has a sick appreciation for shirts and hoodies. Let's go. No, seriously, yeah.
See, and DVH. See, I know if I've seen it, usually DVH has seen it, because we've seen all the obscure shit that nobody's watched.
Yeah, no, I also like that DVH does.
That's not him. He don't have any posts.
I think so.
I don't think he has any
that's
posts.
his sign in the chat.
Probably, I'm right there. See if I follow him, see if it is. Yeah. I don't think Figure says yes.
Figure says yes. He apparently knows his own account. So
my figure drawing.
No, you two would get along.
Yeah, The Loved Ones is good fun, and that's just a crazy flick.
He doesn't actually post, but he's there. I know.
Yeah, I see that. I I saw. Oh,
So, Katie, this almost has some Tucker and Dale vibes to it.
Oh, okay, done. On
But
my list.
it's
Yeah.
not as comedic as that. It's
Okay.
the horrors is realized. There's funny moments in it though, because it's just deranged.
Ooh. Okay. I'm down. I'm down for everything. I will watch all the things. But yeah, no, I know you're super big into the martial arts stuff, but we have to get the guys together again so we can watch
Yeah.
the freaking Raid 2 again because we didn't finish that.
no, we
The Raid
didn't.
movies are so good.
Yeah, I'm huge. Outside of horror movies, kung fu movies are near and dear to my heart. I'm actually in the middle of writing.
Ooh.
I'm writing a lot of shit, you guys, but I have two movies that are two things that I'm writing. One of them is Bushido, The Way of the Samurai, and
Ooh.
another one I called it The Wandering Samurai, and it's my telling or my version of Seven Samurai, the old black and white film from back in the day. It's pretty much my
Nice.
modern twist and my modern take on it. And it's dope as fuck considering I love horror and I love movies like John Wick and The Raid. So you can only imagine what kind of fucking samurai movie I would make. But
Dope
yeah,
one.
that's
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I love.
And he followed you back.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, DVH also did his own horror watch along himself. He pulled up a bunch of movies he was doing, and he did some like very obscure things. So I have a whole bunch
That's
of
very
movies that he
cool.
was watching during Halloween that I gotta get back because I got sick during that time. So I gotta finish our list from the low grades, and then I want to finish a bunch of stuff that DVH was doing. I can't wait.
Man, we should do just a big horror watch one night on YouTube.
Yes,
Where we just pick
yeah.
a movie and just all
Yeah.
join
Down.
together and watch it.
Yeah, I'm so down.
It sounds like we do that every October. We'll pick a day.
It is
to
darker
do
than
it
Tucker and
more,
Dale, the
but,
loved ones. Way darker. But
Yeah. No, the
I
movie
guess-
watch-alongs are so much fun. Yeah.
since we're talking the sleepers, I know my sleeper is gonna go 50-50 with everyone here.
Ooh,
I
right.
know, yeah, it definitely is.
Pops is gonna hate it.
I know, like, I could Houses October Built is a sleeper. I could cover many sleeper films. This one is very modern. It's very new. You either hated it or loved it, but all in all, a lot of people just didn't understand it. I didn't understand it when I first watched it. I think that's why it did frighten me during one particular scene. But it's because I'm trying to. The reason why it frightened me so much is because the scene happened out of nowhere, and I'm so focused in trying to put together this movie on what has transpired up until then. I'm so caught up in that when I get hit with the frightening scene, it got me.
Film.
So yeah, my sleeper film, which goes 50-50, Skinamarink.
Dude, I know you loved that movie when you saw that. Yeah.
Like, I hated the way it was shot, and I understood why it was shot that way. I still hated it, even though I understood why they were doing it.
I think this being it sleeper, it's also a movie that I could talk about. Like I when I was a kid, I used to have dreams of all the houses, like all the doors and the windows in my house being gone. Like I used to have dreams like that. And in those same dreams, Pinhead would meet me around the corner. I used to have the same reoccurring dream a lot. And it's funny because Pinhead is in both reoccurring dreams. Two reoccurring dreams from my childhood, and it's funny because I had it recently.
I love Pinhead as a villain because he's so intelligent, and that's what makes him a threat.
Yeah, I had it recently as an adult.
Fantastic.
So I had to. Two reoccurring dreams. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Skinamarink. The reason why it messes with me is because I used to have dreams about the doors and the windows being gone and it's just different. It's a different film, and I appreciate difference. I appreciate things that are hard to explain. I appreciate things that are obscure and you don't necessarily understand it the first time around. It's kind of like me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and sometimes I feel like I'm not understood the first time around. I also, like this movie, have a hard time. Other people might have a hard time portraying what it is that I'm saying or what it is that I'm computing out or the art that I'm trying to show. So I think that's kind of why I relate to this movie a lot, is because I do feel like it's misunderstood and it's slept on, and you have to take a closer look at it if you really want to get to know it. Yeah, that's that.
That's okay. I mean, that movie, a lot of people do love.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's why I gave it a shot. So,
yeah. I regret not seeing it in theaters. I wish I would have. I felt like it would have been way more of a scarier ride than when I watched it at the house. Yeah, it got me at the house. Um, I don't know. It just took me back to maybe PTSD as a kid of things that I used to dream about or things that used to scare me. Um, oh yeah.
I feel that way about Annihilation.
Oh, I saw that in the movies, and the first like 10 minutes, people just walked out of the theater on that
It's
movie.
so good. And
It's
a lot of people just don't take the time to understand it.
It's interesting for what it is. I love like the different scenery changes on there and like how like the environmental changes and stuff. It's really interesting.
Again, that's more like existential horror, though.
Yeah. But that one's an interesting one. It's different. I would have to probably rewatch that one because I was so distracted by people leaving, you couldn't really focus.
Yeah.
That's when you'd really need to focus on and figure out what's actually happening on it.
I put on horror movies to go to sleep. They're my comfort.
Yes.
I do too.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Every night I put on a horror movie, like one I know and like love, and it's just my comfort going to sleep.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. I love to. Yeah. So whenever I want to get creative, but I don't really know what to draw, I put on a horror movie and I will sketch along to something that's happening in the movie, and that's what gets me creative. And I love that kind of thing.
Now, look, J2, you're not getting out of here without you and I talking about Romulus a second. People look at me weird when I say it's my second favorite Alien movie.
Oh,
I like Alien and then Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus brings the horror back to the Alien franchise.
Yeah,
which is what I love. I'm not hating on Aliens at all. Still a great movie, still horror elements. But Romulus is more of a pure horror movie like the first Alien was. And Fede Alvarez is just one of my favorite directors. That guy is brilliant. Like his Evil Dead, I thought was incredible.
Yes.
Oh, those are two movies I need to see. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen.
I'm a huge fan of Fede Alvarez.
High Tension, so good.
Yes, High Tension is amazing.
Love High Tension.
Fede Alvarez, I'm a huge fan of him. One being of the Latino background, you know what I mean? So I have to represent, I guess, in the sense of, the Z's in our last name. But Alien Romulus, man, people probably gonna unfollow me on Instagram, and that's cool. Alien Romulus is my favorite Alien movie in the whole entire franchise. Why? Because it did what Alien did for others back then for me.
Exactly.
For now. Alien Romulus came out in my time. For me to experience in the theater the same way Alien 1 came out for everyone back then and gave them that experience.
He's trying to say old people, but he's being really nice about
it. I'm
just picking on you, Jay.
Yeah, but it's also like like I'm sitting in, guys, you don't understand. These are over 20 years of movie tickets that I've gone. And it's to say, like, I saw A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one, in theaters for like 4 Octobers ago, all by myself. No one had purchased. It was in the dollar movie. I got to experience what they experienced in the 80s, watching that movie. So essentially, with Romulus, it took me to where it took them watching Alien. That was pure horror back then. Fede Alvarez took this straight back to horror the way the franchise needs to be.
And I've been waiting for somebody to do that.
sci-fi. Yeah, no, it should have the sci-fi twist in it, but it should be horror, right? Because when you talk Alien, you consider that a horror movie.
In theme, and that it's a horror movie, yes, but it is quite different on its own. But it does chronologically take place after the first Alien.
Yes, I just feel Romulus. It's my favorite because it does bring the horror tropes and the horror elements back to the franchise. But my biggest reasoning why it's my favorite and why it's that good. I mean, the script was great. The performances were amazing. Andy was fucking dope as fuck. Where's my Romulus hat on so I could put that on right now?
Well, that,
I mean,
I
I got an IMAX poster and a regular advanced screener poster. Like, I love that movie, and I
like
said,
that they were solving problems in it too. Like like when the facehugger, like on the poster, was in her, and they actually were able to take it out of her by thinking it through with the stuff.
For me, that's my. I think that's the only reason.
DVD.
Yeah, it's the only reasoning that to me I need on why. I mean, it's my Alien. What came out back then, like this came out for me to watch in the theater. And I know Covenant and all that shit came out and whatnot, but it's not horror. Like there was no thing in there. Yeah, it was more sci-fi,
or
adventure, spacey, like dude.
And I actually like Prometheus a lot. I did not care for Covenant.
I hated Covenant. I liked Prometheus.
Nobody cared about David. You wanted to see, Like, why am I following David's story?
Yeah.
I
need Covenant is cool. Don't get it. I like the Alien franchise, all of them. I enjoy the movies, and Covenant's cool. But man, Prometheus tops fucking Covenant times 10 over. If I was on a stranded island, you can keep Covenant, leave me Romulus, Prometheus, and Alien 1, and I'm chilling. Like I don't need anything else.
I love Prometheus, especially that birthing, that abortion scene was just insane. And that did have some good horror in it, Prometheus.
Yeah.
Some good horror elements in it.
I remember watching it. I had no idea it was Aliens.
Alien 3 is a horrible movie. It was but David Fincher.
I love
makes
Alien
a bad
3.
movie.
It's stupid.
It has bad pasted special effects in it. The alien effects are horrible. The story is just ruined what was set up in the story before it.
To our friend in the chat who hasn't seen Romulus yet, and his buddy felt it topped it as his favorite Alien until the last 20 minutes. I will say this: if you've seen Prometheus, you'll understand the last 20 minutes of this film for Romulus, and how like anyone can't see the connection or the correlation, and that is then I don't know, but I dude, watch Romulus. It's cool.
And I actually like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't want to give I was gonna start talking that movie, but my friend he hasn't seen it, so I don't want to say too much about it.
He brought up the one thing that I didn't like about Prometheus. That scene made no sense, and he agrees with me. When the ship's falling and they run in a straight line in the ship's shadow instead of going left or right, you know what, you deserve it then. It was just a horrible writing way to kill somebody. Like you could have escaped that.
Yeah, for real.
Right, poor Newt in Alien 3, right? Because we should have continued Newt's story and
probably can't even see none of that. Probably not.
Yeah, it was just
it's a little.
Yes, tropes happen.
These are all fucking.
I'm sorry. Did you have a movie J2, or was that your movies?
I think that's about it, brother. I mean, I could go on for days and days and
we'll just have to do a second horror show with you at some point.
Yeah, I'll come back. You can be my co-host.
Yeah, I would.
Katie, we can certainly do one with you.
Yeah,
because I'm scheduled in February, so don't even think.
Nice.
We will schedule you your own horror movie show.
Oh, let's go. It's gonna be some weird stuff.
I didn't know you were interested. Now I'm excited about it.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh yeah, big horror fan.
And I gotta get Dope Comics on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
listen.
for his
Dude.
horror show.
If you guys don't know, I went bananas. I have a whole wall over here of shirts I just bought. Spencer's and Hot Topic had a $5, $7, and $10 clearance shirt sale. I went bananas here. You got Bride of Frankenstein. I went bananas on shirts. It's so many.
Chop, how you
Chop
doing,
and
sir?
drop. What up, Chop?
But great selection, and and that's one of the reasons you had to be the first guy, because horror does have such a personal connection for you.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you are
It does.
so passionate about it, and
It does.
that's what all this fandom's about, is our passion for these things. Love them or hate them, we have a passion for them.
Yeah, my apologies, and my selections were some more modern things than obscure stuff. I got a lot of movies, a lot of things that are still on the way, and a lot of things that I still haven't seen. And that's the good thing about horror, is you think you've seen it all and you haven't.
Right. And there's always something hidden that's absolutely incredible that you didn't even know about, and when you find it, it always blows your mind.
Yes. Yeah. I gotta say, man, I thank you for having me on. I don't ever like tooting a horn, or I'm just a guy who enjoys horror movies, that wants to work in horror
Adrian too.
movies. And that's
Yes,
all,
Adrian.
so.
We need to
right,
do like a
James.
whole horror month.
Horror month, let's go.
Yeah, Adrian. But J2, I mean, you got to come back and be my co-host when Katie does it.
Yeah.
Anytime, man. Anytime you let me know, and I'll gladly come hang out. I've known Katie for some time. Gary, I've known you for some time, and I've shared the screen with y'all both before, so it's a comfortable feeling, and I'd gladly come help out on any horror show that you guys may need. Just let me know.
Absolutely.
Well, I had something I want to ask you, because you kind of brought this up already with the Nightmare on Elm Street, because you saw that a couple of times for the first time in the theater. You're super huge on going to like the drive-ins and the movie theaters to watch movies. You watch them as they come out. You watch the re-releases.
Mm-hmm.
How excited are you for stuff that's being re-released that you can finally watch it, like the drive-in and stuff, for the first time? Yeah.
I today just bought tickets for February 6th 4K screening of Hellraiser.
Oh.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen Hellraiser?
No, I've never seen it. No, Hellraiser is one of my favorite franchises
That
of
is
all
such
time.
a great movie.
I've never seen
movie
it.
needs its graininess too. The graininess is part of what makes it great.
I've never seen it in a theater setting.
And the performances are so disturbing in it. They're so good.
Oh, I love Doug Bradley, the first one. He's such a homie.
I have a signed picture of Doug Bradley. It says, "Gary, welcome to hell, Doug Bradley."
Me too. He called me a little shit.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, wait, let's answer this question from Callie. This is a good question. What movie do you think they wish they'd release again in theaters, even for the first time? So mine was John Carpenter's The Thing, which they did as a fandom event.
I did watch
I was
that
able
in
to
theater.
take my kid to it. That and the original King Kong, which they did, and I was able to take my kid to it. Because they had an original 1933 reel of King Kong that the George Eastman house played. So we got to see it with its natural sound, which was horrible, and its natural aspect, which movies back then were a lot smaller than you think. The screen wasn't huge.
Yeah.
To answer that question, it's not a horror movie. I could list a bunch of horror movies, but one of my other favorite movies, I'm one of those guys, like I want to experience movies that I love in the theater, the ones that I like. That's why I'm going to watch Hellraiser in the theater, just to sit in that setting.
Right.
But the Fast and Furious, that's fine. I saw the very first one in theaters in middle school. I went on a date. I got set up on a blind date with the chick. Shout out to her. Yeah, I remember going. The Fast and the Furious is a memory. I remember her name too, but I won't put it out there.
And I have a lot of people that say, and I'm sure you agree with me on this one, say that they rather just wait to watch something at home. There's nothing like the theater experience when you're watching a movie that you love.
Yeah, no.
The theater experience is everything. It's every time I see a movie I love in the theater, it still feels like an event.
Yeah, I love I love going to the theaters. I love intentionally going to new theaters that I've never been to.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, like one of my dreams is to own and operate a drive-in.
Oh,
I just
nice.
love the drive-in cinemas. I just love the drive-in theater. Yeah, I mean, I've made posts about it on Instagram
I
countless times, and
I saw that in the theater.
This
yeah,
might actually happen because they just announced 3's coming out. So that might actually happen, Chop.
but
So I'm sorry, you were
yeah, I
going to say what your
appreciate.
movie is
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I
that you
can't
wanted to
even.
see re-released.
Oh, it's a Spike Lee joint entitled "He Got Game," featuring
Oh, yeah.
Denzel Washington and Ray Allen. Um, it's just one of my favorite movies of all
Nice.
time. Outside of horror movies, I'm a big basketball guy. I love Spike Lee movies, and I love Ray Allen and Denzel. So yeah, like when I saw his comment, that's just one of the movies I've always wanted to watch in a theater setting. So I couldn't help but pick that one when he had said it.
What about you, Katie?
I have a couple. I would love to see Killer Clowns in a drive-in. I would love to see the French release of Beauty and the Beast, that silent one from
Mhm.
the
Oh
Criterion
yeah,
Collection. It is probably one of the most gorgeous movies ever made.
it
And
is.
OG Godzilla, OG Godzilla,
Oh, that's a good one.
Mhm.
all of them. If I could do that in drive-in, that would be amazing.
Dude, I don't even want to, man. All right, so how you said you've been watching the thing and that, like, so since that
Yeah.
happened, I watched Nosferatu the other night. But I've been on a David Lynch binge. I just binged out Twin Peaks, and then last night I watched Fire Walk with Me. And then the night before I was watching Blue Velvet, and then
Blue
I think
Velvet.
Sunday morning I watched on HBO his documentary, The Art Life. Yeah, at this current moment right now, I'm only doing David Lynch movies just to kind of get a grasp, to kind of go into his world, his elements, and see um, uh, just see the emotions he can create within me from his films. And I'm excited to see how I feel watching his films and rewatching them. So yeah.
And for filmmakers with their own kind of visions, which are unique, we got to shout out David Cronenberg too.
Yes, Cronenberg is he's
Just
an
'cause we were
amazing.
talking Nightbreed earlier, and he played a great villain in that,
Yeah.
where he wasn't actually directing, he was acting.
Yeah, David Lynch is
But
rest in peace,
Cronenberg,
David Lynch. I actually I don't damn I'm trying to I might have to I should have put the link up. I just bought a shirt on Instagram where the proceeds it's a David Lynch shirt where the proceeds are going to the David Lynch Foundation. I guess I should have came more prepared to send that out. I'm very big on supporting things like that and that I love.
Yeah.
Like that shirt, and then I bought another LA Movies T-shirt that supported what was the charity? It was for incarcerated firefighters. I'm all about those incarcerated firefighters out there who are only working for $1. I feel like they should be paid more. They're out there work 14 to 15 hours a day putting out those fires. So I want to
Yeah.
help out the homies.
Now I got to ask you a closing question.
Sure.
So usually when I do a comic one, I ask people, because it's my favorite. I just like to know how people think about this. Like I'll ask what comic would they like to have their death drawn in, and who would be killing them and who would be writing it. So I'm going to ask you instead, what movie would you like to have a death in? What famous horror villain do you want to kill you, and who is directing your death scene?
Dang.
So this is your dream cameo in a movie, basically. Your dream death cameo.
Dang. I don't know. Um, I don't know.
Stumped them.
Yeah, I could easily say I want to be directed by George A. Romero in a film written by Robert Eggers, but I'd want to be in a film written by directed by George A. Romero, but he has to be the cameo zombie that bites me.
Oh, nice. I'm sure he would have
Um,
been down for it.
Or I mean, there's a number of films. I'd love to be in the Leprechaun and stealing gold and getting killed. Right? I
Nice.
wouldn't mind saying Candyman 5 times in front of the mirror for the movie.
Oh, they have Tony Todd up behind you.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of iconic
What
things
about
that
the hooks from Pinhead?
yeah, like
Ooh.
you know, I the hooks from Pinhead on the twirling 2x4s. Art the Clown comes into play. Michael Myers, Bathsheba from Conjuring. I'd want to go explore the house, try to exorcise the demons, and then there comes Bathsheba, or even the nun. I there's so many. It's kind of hard just to narrow that down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I think-
okay.
Yeah. I want to be chased by Jason. Friday the 13th has a special place in my head.
There was a movie. Where is it? So there is a movie that I bet neither one of you have seen, and I think you can watch it free on YouTube. But it stars Fay Ray, the original King Kong actress.
Mm-hmm.
It was an old black and white movie from 1934 called Black Moon, and it's regarded as kind of like forbidden cinema type thing, like our underground cinema.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's good. If you guys have never seen it, it's worth a watch. Has to do with voodoo and stuff like that too.
If y'all want to have some wild fun, go watch Begotten.
Ooh, he like Gore says he'd like to.
Oh, yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Gore.
That's a good way to go.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean,
That's,
talking about not
yeah.
putting up a struggle. Oh no!
Oh no! Stay away! You heinous beast!
The end
No.
Yeah, but I mean that's it, man. I could talk about anything. Possession was a great movie.
Oh, somebody asked you if you saw that.
Possession?
Yeah, somebody asked if you saw Possession in the chat earlier.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
hell yeah. By Kane's Best Actress, 1981. I actually
Mhm.
just bought a Possession shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that movie. Shout out to Jurassic Park. I forget what his name. The guy. Fuck, what's his name? Sam Neill. Is it Sam
Yes.
Neill?
Oh yeah, Sam
Yeah.
Neill's great.
Yeah, he's in Possession with I think it's Andrea Balgari. She's French or Italian, one of those.
Isabella Johnny.
No, I think her name starts with the name, or it could be Isabella. Actually, I could
I
very.
think it's Isabella Adjani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny.
They
Isabella,
mentioned
you're
that.
right.
They mentioned Sam and Isabella in the chat earlier.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget the Mouths of in the Mouth of Madness.
Oh,
Was Sam another great
man.
John Carpenter flick.
I love him. One of my favorite TV movies of all time is that Merlin movie.
Oh yeah,
So good.
he's so good in everything. But all right, so we're gonna go around the horn here. We always start with my co-host. So Katie, what's coming up for you?
Good question. I have a whole ton of stuff coming up. I think I have a show on Thursday and Friday and Sunday. I have a couple things coming up with Dynamite, so look forward to that. But other than that, I recently got back into cards again, and I have a whole ton of stuff on my bed that I need to sort. Yes. I found some Michael Jordan stuff that you want to see. I've been getting into my sorting of my cards coming up, so I can't wait.
Very cool.
Hobbies. Yeah, my bro, his wife, and I have been hitting up all the card shows. So
That's awesome.
Oh, by the way, I went to a comic store that I found, and they had 2 slabbed Leprechaun comics, which are very hard to find. And he offered me a super sick deal on those. If you want those, let me know.
How much?
It was like $160 for both of them. I don't know.
Well, great.
They were 9+. But yeah, they're really hard to find. I know. Yeah. He still has them.
Damn.
I know. Those are so hard to find. I know.
I just got. What did I get? I just got my Nosferatu perfume today. The one that sold
what does
out.
that smell like?
It smells like wilted lilacs,
Oh, that's pretty.
a thunderstorm, and
Okay.
a musked castle.
Oh, that's a good sense. I don't know how they managed to put that in perfume, but I dig
It
it.
actually
Yeah.
smells fucking amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Aw,
Yeah. But yeah, no, thanks for having
Chili.
me on, man.
No
Yeah,
problem.
it's
Coming
Yeah.
up for me in 2 nights' time, guys, we have Bill Tastic on In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects, who is talking about his comic book that he did all the interior art and cover for.
Oh, nice.
It is all his original art, so that's exciting. And then next week, I'm taking Tuesday off, but on Thursday, we have Matt Morgan on his first 1011.
very fun.
And then I've started scheduling February, but I have a feeling I'm going to fill it up with some horror shows
Yes.
with Katie and Adrian.
What?
And,
Let's go.
We're going to get some of these scheduled. So J2, you better keep some Tuesdays and Thursdays free in February to come co-host with me.
Okay. Yeah,
Perfect.
let me know, man. If I can make it happen, I'll come hang out with you and talk horror. I appreciate this. It's been fun, so thank you.
Oh, no problem. And the three of us will have to do a horror show at some point together.
Oh, yes. All horror all day. Because, yeah, I was actually going to start a horror show with my friend. I already have a name for it, and I'm very excited because I actually want to do some
K-pop
horror
or
content.
horror.
No. I'm not saying the name anymore because it's one of my favorite things of all time. I already.
Oh, don't save it for the debut.
Yeah.
All right. So, J2 though, do you have anything coming up, sir?
I don't. I don't know. Instagram. If I'm just still auditioning, guys. I'm auditioning for different stage plays. I'm auditioning for movies. I'm doing things that I've never done before. I'm challenging myself because you just never know what could happen. You just never know what door could happen when you're passionate about it. So I'm hoping my passions lead me to places that I never thought of and I could only dream of, right? Other than that, like I hadn't made the announcement, but I guess while I'm here, March 15th in New Braunfels, Texas, the In a Pickle Festival, yours truly will be in the pickle juice drinking competition.
Yes.
And yeah, I signed up.
Let's go. No. You're going to win this. If anybody is going to win that, that's you. Of all the pickle things.
And there's also a pickle eating competition that I'll be joining in it as well. So other than that, I mean, I'm just writing and auditioning writing and auditioning. So like when that's about it.
Well, how did that audition go the other day? You posted that online. How did that go?
The audition was cool. It was a different experience. I got to meet with a director, a writer, and some production team. I had to prepare a 1 to 2 minute monologue in which I completely changed like a day or two before and had to sit like sleepless nights memorizing a whole new monologue. I've never done I don't have any acting experience, and I guess I'm only looking at getting into acting as a form of just trying to get into work in movies in general, whether it be writing, directing, any sort of film. I just wanted to try my hand at something so different because everything around me was so stagnant, and everybody around me was doing the same thing, so I had to go and do something completely different. And that's where I'm at now. I'm just following dreams. Man, the whole voice acting, I like the fact that you bring that up because it's not the first that I've been told that. I used to rap and I thought about plugging up my microphone. My voice sounds a lot deeper. There's a lot more bravado in my voice when I'm behind a mic. The voice acting, I want to do it all. I want to try my hand at anything. So right now I'm just secluding myself, digging into my brain, digging into my soul, looking inside myself, and I'm pulling out characters and creations in my brain and putting them on paper, and we'll see what happens.
No,
but that's all I got going on.
You got this. Seriously, you've come a long way since the first time I started talking to you, and you're gonna go far. You have such a passion for movies and cinema. You're gonna do well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
So we'll wrap it up. And I want to say, first of all, thank you to Katie for coming on to be my co-host this week. Thank you, Katie.
Well
Then,
done.
of course, these shows don't happen without incredible guests. So once again, I want to thank J2 for coming on and spending time with us. A complete pleasure once again. And anytime that I may have cut you off, I apologize. I'm excited talking about stuff.
We
And
were all excited and chop each other up. But
right.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. Katie, I've known you. Thank you for hanging out, and Gary, thank you for inviting me on the Art and Times of Jay Ryan. That's the beauty of it, right? I battle with. Katie knows me inside of my head, brother. And if you want to stare at the abyss, take a look at yourself and really work out mentals, because I fight demons every day in my brain, and I'm excited to put those demons now, or whatever. I'm just excited to put everything out on paper. I got to express it. So yeah.
And of course, we've got to thank everyone that was in the chat. We had a great crowd tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. As you can tell, the three of us love talking horror. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that in February and March, because horror is just a great thing. It's not just October. It's a year-round event.
Yes, it is in my head.
But yeah, so great. So thank you all. And please sub up everybody I have everyone's links in the description below. So go follow, sub up people you that are on my panels here. Such great people. Thank you guys again. And as I like to end these things, we're going to end it with, I got to find the right one because I switched. There it is. With Keep It Casual.